Check the mail for a check or a bank account.
I can go off and transition myself back into the working world. Yeah.
So Mackenzie, just so you know, that's what's next.
Yeah.
The American Rescue Plan made these tax credits available for parents. The American Families Plan, which now Congresswoman Custer is going to work on, will actually provide some of the services for behavioral health for folks like families that are really stressed. And it will provide more support for kids. It would make sure we boost the wages of all of the workers who take care of kids. It would make it more possible for all of you to actually have the care you need when you need it so you go back to work.
And not just folks who take care of our kids, but folks who are going to take care of our parents as they age as well. The direct care home. Yeah. So thank you just in advance for
Can I just say, as someone who my father passed on New Year's Day in 2020, but we were his caregivers the last years of his life. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Your parents will probably say it to you every day, but they know you love them. But for those of us who know what it means when a parent in his or her last days is cared for by the people who love them most, nothing like it.
I mean, Annie can speak to that. I can.
99% chance is that you're unvaccinated. And so why would you get into that vehicle? Why would you not get vaccinated if you know that you then stand to be among the 99% who are actually dying? That the message is pretty clear. The vaccines work, they're safe, and people are alive to testify to that.
Where do you stand on mandating the vaccine?
Well, we've taken a very clear position. President Biden says we at the federal level are going to do everything we can to help our state and local partners, but it's up to them how they do it. We're going to make sure that no one is left behind. We're going to partner with everyone. If you need a vaccine, we're going to make sure you have it. You need help getting to the in the arms, getting it to the neighbor who can't come to you. We'll help you get there. But it's going to be up to you what the policy will be. Our experts, our scientists are giving everyone the best guidance possible. We hope everyone implements.
A number of school children do need to be vaccinated to go to school. So where do you stand on mandating the COVID-19 vaccine for school children?
Well, that's where the school leaders are making those calls, working with parents, teachers, principals. Schools are making those decisions. And we know that everyone wants to be safe, especially since kids under the age of 12 are not yet getting vaccinated. And so what we want to do is make sure everyone is safe. Remember, more and more you're seeing young people filling those hospital beds. More and more you're seeing a number of younger people dying. We don't need to see that. We want kids to be able to run around free of masks, free of concern, get vaccinated.
Last question. So just on for places like nursing homes that got hit so hard, and with schools where people are concerned, are you in favor of mandating for any places like that or no?
So the president has said that where he has the authority and it makes absolute sense by the science, we're going to make sure that folks follow the rules. And if you try to get on a plane today, the rule is you have to wear a mask. You may be vaccinated. I just got off of a plane. I wore a mask in the airport, in the plane. That makes not just common sense, but scientific sense. What you do in schools, what you do in neighborhoods, that's going to be the decision for the local leaders based on, I hope, the good scientific guidance that the federal government has made available.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Tell me what you want me to do. Sorry?
Well, good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
I will switch up or down.
I am so thankful to our federal delegation, including Congressman Custer, who is with us today.
I wasn't thinking. I knew.
The American Rescue Plan. This direct aid is having a huge impact on our community, including funding sent directly to families, direct support to cities and towns, and increasing access to affordable child care. Recently, we released a proposal to the City of Manchester looking at all aspects of our community, including
Okay, thank you very much.
programs for all all newborn babies and mothers in Manchester. This aid will not only help our families and residents recover from the pandemic, it also works to set our city, our state, and our country.
For letting us come on a glorious day, but perhaps the best thing about today is getting to watch kids actually be kids. Yeah. Isn't it great when you can actually go out somewhere and just be yourself? For the longest time, we couldn't do that. And maybe for some of us who've gone up in age, you know, we figure we'll get back to things. But for a child who's 5 years of age, to lose 20% of their life, not getting to do what they've done in the past, that's a big deal. And so, you see, they agree. So, I just have to say, it is great to be here in the Granite State, congratulating all the moms, all the dads, all the people in New Hampshire who worked hard to make it possible for you to come out and enjoy today, because you're getting vaccinated, and we want to thank you for that. But you know, while I think we would all agree, and I know Congresswoman Custer will probably put the exclamation point behind this, that it is important for us to be safe, to get vaccinated. Here's the other thing. How can I put this? Kids should be thinking about hope and possibility. Not worried about mama or grandma dying.
Amen.
Or not being able to go visit your friend for a year. And the fact that so many families have somehow made it work, and you're going to hear from some of those men and women who've made it work. We have to say thank you to them, because we're coming out of COVID, we hope, so we got work to do. And that's where it is so great to come here to New Hampshire and say to each and every one of you, check your bank account, check the mail. You may have a $300 check today. Because we wanted to give, President Biden in his Build Back America agenda said, we want to give parents a tax cut for their kids.
Thank you, Mr. President!
$3,600, up to $3,600 for families who have children under the age of 6. Important, because guess what? They're not going to invest it in some boondoggle out in some other country. They're not going to probably have a chance to just sock it away for, you know, the European vacation. They're going to use it to buy clothes for those kids. They're going to use it to make sure those kids have good food on the table. They're going to make sure, as I just heard, they take care of that roof that's leaking again. And so you need to provide your kids a safe place, a good place, and that's why it's important. So today we're here to say thank you to all of you who worked hard to make sure President Biden had success. When he said we're going to build back better, what he meant was when we come out of COVID, we're not going to just go back to what we had. It's going to be better. And you are showing that we can do it. So thank you to New Hampshire, the people of New Hampshire, for what you're doing. We will continue with that. And I want to say one last thing. If the stories I just heard today from some of the moms are like the stories I know I'm going to hear as I go to other places to talk about the child tax credit, then I know America is coming back strong, because this is money that will be spent here in America, helping merchants get back to business and helping families stay strong. And you're about to hear from someone right now who can give you perfect testament to that. Let me now introduce Carrie Duran to say a few words about her circumstances. Carrie, come on up.
Thank you, Secretary Becerra. I'd like to say that I actually had a deposit in my bank account. So that's going going to help so much. My birthday's in August. It's time to get the car inspected and running and safe on the road, so that's going to certainly help my family. So I am so excited to be here today. My name is Carrie Duran. I am a single mom of 3 amazing young ladies, one of which is right behind me. Katie, she's 10 years old. I also have twin girls who are 15. I work part-time and I go to school full-time. When my daughter Katie was born with Down syndrome, I was not able to continue working full-time because I needed to take care of her. So it was very difficult with all her doctor's appointments and special medical needs to be able to work a typical full-time job. So it's been my honor to work part-time and take care of her all of these years and go to school. So with working part-time, being a single mom of 3 kids, it's been pretty tight. We've struggled financially quite a bit, but with a little love and a whole lot of coffee for Mom, we have made it through. We've made it. We've squeaked by. Well, not too long ago, my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and his disease progressed so rapidly that I had to quit school, and I became his caregiver and his guardian. He needed round-the-clock care, and here I was officially a member of the sandwich generation. I was caring for my father, caring for my daughter who had disabilities, caring for my family, working part-time, and trying to balance it all. And that little level of squeaking by became that we were drowning, absolutely drowning.
Yeah.
And what would have helped me, what would have helped my children, what would have helped my family is paid family and medical leave.
Woo! Woo!
That would have got us out of the drowning. So I, at that time, was having to make decisions about caring for my father and working because I couldn't do both. I didn't have paid leave, and I was lucky that my employer was so flexible to give me the time I needed, but it was unpaid. It was unpaid. So as a mother, as a daughter, I was forced to make decisions between caring for my father and putting food on the table. And that's not a decision any mother, any daughter should ever have to make. So when you go forth, all friends and colleagues and neighbors, and advocate for paid family medical leave, think of our story and join me as we move forward and get this happening as a very important policy for New Hampshire families. Thank you so much. And I have somebody I would like to introduce, and her name is Jody. Newell. Jody Newell. Thank you.
My name is Jody Newell, and I'm a member leader of Rights and Democracy New Hampshire. The American Rescue Plan, which was passed thanks to our Congress members Chris Pappas and Annie Kuster, and our senators Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen, has been a lifeline for New Hampshire families and communities. As a homeless advocate, I've seen the impact on struggling families in our shelter community, and as a single mother, I've felt it firsthand. I was fortunate to work through the pandemic, but I know many whose lives were thrown into disarray with their kids home, remote learning, and many businesses closed for extended periods, leaving them short or completely missing their regular paycheck. On top of that, these accommodations required things like internet access, laptops, etc. All of these expenses that you don't expect to come along with it. And honestly, the stress was palpable. I believe we often underestimate and undervalue the impact of the quarantine and the measures we needed to take on our mental health, with much of the weight falling on the shoulders of low-wage women and families. Relieving the financial strain helped us to focus on the important things, namely our children. It was heartening to see members of our community come together to create mutual aid networks, but this could not possibly have addressed the scale of the problem. And the American Rescue Plan was an absolute lifesaver for so many. To be sure, there were many families struggling to get by before the pandemic, and while the American Rescue Plan delivered much needed assistance in the face of the crisis, there is much more we can do to help families like mine thrived. I'm here today to both celebrate the huge victory that expanded child tax credits represent for me, my family, and millions of children and families across the country. And also to call on our elected officials to pass the most ambitious American Families Plan possible. A plan that makes the expanded child tax credit permanent so that it's protected from future attempts to repeal it. A plan that reins in the exploitative practices of the health insurance and pharmaceutical industries, expands Medicare, and puts us on a path toward a healthcare system that is a universal public good, not a profit-driven scheme. A plan that creates a universal paid family and medical leave program. As we've heard, these things are absolutely essential to support thriving families and children like mine. And I would like to introduce Amy Custer, Representative.
Thank you everybody. Oh my gosh, thank you to my good friend Xavier Becerra, Secretary of Health and Human Services. What a friend for New Hampshire in Washington. I've got to give a shout out to my good friend and colleague Rosa DeLauro. She has been working on child tax credits for over 20 years. Rosa, your kids are here. Thank you, Rosa. It's happening. Thank you to Jean Shaheen and Maggie Hassan and Chris Pappas. And thank you to President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. We are here. The checks are in the mail. The money is in the bank account. Woo! And New Hampshire families need this support. These stories are incredible. Honestly, heart-wrenching. And I would particularly want to reach out to our sandwich generation stories. My mom, who you know, Susan McLean, had Alzheimer's while I was raising my teenage boys. And although we could afford what we needed, the struggle is real. The emotional struggle, the toll on families. And add to that COVID-19, the shutdowns, the pain, the death right here in this state. So, Javier, I want to tell you a story. We went up to 16% unemployment just over a year ago. Now, we are down to 2.5%. Which is an amazing story, but everywhere I go, I have businesses begging me, we need more workers. And let me tell you something that just hit me so strong just the other day. We lost workers to COVID. We lost family members. People died. Or they have long-term COVID, like my niece, 34 years old, who can barely get off the couch. We lost people to the opioid epidemic, to addiction and mental health. We just heard yesterday from the CDC, 93,000 people died in our country in the last year. That's where the workers have gone. And we lost women, moms and dads, parents who could not work, and they're right here with us today because they are investing in our precious future. So we need these funds to get families back to work. Already today, I'm hearing stories about families right here in New Hampshire who have decided that they'll use their money from the child tax cut to pay for more days of daycare so that they can go back to work. I've heard from families who can pay for health care needs, who can pay for diapers, who can pay for transportation. Already one of these women have said she's going to get a car that works and she can use that monthly payment. So this is what our families need. They need a little bit of help. They just need a boost, and then we will all build back better. And the best part of this that Javier mentioned is that these resources, these dollars are going to be spent right here at home. Buy local. When you go out, buy local. Pay better wages to our child care workers. Reopen our child care centers. Help our teachers go back strong in the fall by taking care of their kids. And let's everybody work together. Thank you, Christina D'Alessandro.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank everyone for coming on this really hot day. We got lucky in New Hampshire. It was
been rainy for those of you who haven't been here. We have a few minutes to take questions from the media with the secretary, and I also want to remind everybody we have sandwiches on the go, and in the spirit of a good block party, we have ice cream. So please take ice cream. But Secretary Becerra, would you entertain some questions?
And Congresswoman as well.
And Congressman Custer, sorry. Here you go. So do we have any questions? People, yep.
Hi, Anne-Marie Timmons from New Hampshire Bulletin. The other big issue facing families is reproductive health care planning and care generally. I know Senator Sheen has asked your office to help with stop that funding. Is that going to be possible?
So we're in the process of re-examining where we stand with Title X. I think most of us understand the importance of giving all families access to the care that they need. Reproductive care is no different. Title X has been a lifesaver for so many families in giving them the services that they need. No one should be treated differently because of how they look, where they come from, and certainly not because of their gender. And so we want to make sure that when it comes to Title X, we are not only enforcing the law, but protecting the rights of all of us, including women, to have access to good health care. And Title X family planning has been one of the most important programs we have. It's the actual only program that we have that is focused on family planning. And it helps women, men, families. So we are in the process of making sure that we not only live by the spirit of Title X, but we make sure it's enforced the right way as well.
And are you optimistic we can get funding because it's a justice?
Yeah, well, and that's why we've got the good Congresswoman here as well, because we do what Congress lets us do. When you all tell us you want us to jump, we ask Congress how high they'll let us jump. And in that regard, I think everyone recognizes that coming out of COVID, we need to have the services that families need. And so we hope that with Title X, Congress will not only support it with adequate appropriations, but that then we have the opportunity to go out and make sure in communities across the country, and certainly here in places like Manchester, that we're providing the Title X family planning services that we have.
Secretary, could I ask, Simon Montek from the Christian Science Monitor, last year New Hampshire had more deaths than births. Do you think a policy like this will make any difference to the individual decisions people are making about whether to have children?
It's an interesting question. We rarely think about that. But in America, we saw the actual life expectancy rate go down for certain populations. Not because we're living fewer years as we age, because of COVID. And COVID, especially for some populations, especially for example, our brothers and sisters in the black community were dying in disproportionate numbers. So the life expectancy for blacks in America, black men, went down. And that's with all the technology and all the rest. There are still parts of America that are suffering tremendously. Part of that is COVID. Part of that is that we've had an unequal and unbalanced health system for the longest time. And do I think that that's going to change what people do in terms of their family planning and raising kids? I hope not. I hope that we continue to recognize that these beautiful children are the future of this country. We need them. You just heard the Congresswoman say that we need more people here in the great state of New Hampshire because your unemployment rate is so low. What we want, though, is when these kids are around, we want to recognize what Frederick Douglass said back in 1855. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And so let us invest in our kids so we have strong kids who become strong Americans, building a strong America.
Last question.
Andrew Sylvia, you and the Congressman talked about efforts to try to put people back to work who are parents. Can you talk about efforts for folks who aren't parents in similar ways, trying to get them back to work?
And I'm going to ask the Congresswoman to respond after I finish as well. The Build Back America agenda is predicated on making sure all Americans can come forward. And so what we're talking about today is crucial, making sure that families that are raising children don't have to go without work because they have to stay home to take care of their kids, or don't have to send their kids to a place that doesn't have quality caregivers because the caregivers can't afford to pay their workers the right wages. That's critical. But remember, the Build Back America agenda talks about investing in all of us. That's why the president has called for every American to make decent wages. That's why the president is talking about building here in America and investing in manufacturing here in America. That's why the president has spoken so eloquently about how it was essential workers who got hit the hardest during COVID, and without the essential workers, America would have collapsed. And so now he wants to reinvest in those essential workers. So I must tell you that President Joe Biden has made it very clear that when it comes to building back here in America, everyone will have a chance, but certainly if you're one of those people who helped during essential times, we're there for you. And let me ask Congressman Custer to say some words on that.
Yeah, no, you put your finger right on it. We want everyone back in the workplace contributing. We want to build back better, and that's why Senator Shaheen, Senator Hassan are literally in Washington today putting together this infrastructure bill. It's a bipartisan infrastructure bill. Those dollars will be spent right here in New Hampshire. Roads, bridges, highways, rail. We can't wait to get rail. And also broadband communication. That's been a big issue for me. We just had a hearing yesterday, passed some bills in my committee on Energy and Commerce about making sure that every household in New Hampshire can not only be in the workplace, but in the modern workplace. That they can work from home if they need to, that they can get their health care at home if they need to, that their children and their young people can be educated from home if they need to. Everyone deserves an equal chance at building that better. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
We want to say thank you, Secretary Becerra, for your time. Thank you, Congresswoman Custer. Thank you, everybody, and for listening to the stories. The stories make the difference. So if you have a story to share, we really ask that you do it. We'll be here for a while. Ice cream, sandwiches, and thank you so much all for coming today. Let's build this back better. Thanks, Christina. And thanks our partners with 603 Forward and Rights and Democracy.